How's this for an international effort? We're about to drive the new Amarok from German brand Volkswagen, here in South Africa, where this thing is going to be built. That's after it was developed in Melbourne, Australia, alongside the Ranger by American manufacturer Ford, and that car is built in Thailand, I think? Yeah. Anyway, regardless of the origins of this thing, the new Amarok is a huge deal for Volkswagen in Australia. And we're getting behind the wheel a few months before it arrives in local showrooms in April next year. So let's get down to business. Don't forget that my full written review is over at the CarsGuide site right now, and feel free to give us a like and a subscribe to stay up to date with all of CarsGuide content. Volkswagen Australia is yet to announce pricing for the new Amarok, but we have a bit of an idea as to where it's going to land. Given it's an all-new model and given the additional kit over the old model, you can bet that it's going to be more expensive. Now, that outgoing model started about $46,000, so there's a good chance this new one is going to start north of $50,000. Anyone expecting a stripped-back base grade with only the basic features and an affordable price tag might be disappointed. The Amarok is packed with standard in-car and tech features. Standard gear in the base Amarok core includes LED headlights, power folding mirrors, wireless charging, 17-inch alloy wheels, single-zone air conditioning, a 10-inch multimedia touchscreen, 8-inch digital instrument cluster and a multi-function steering wheel. The mid-range style gains a sports bar, larger 12-inch multimedia screen, and a 12-inch digital instrument cluster, 10-way power driver's seat, heated front seats, ambient lighting and keyless entry and start. The PanAmericana adds black styling flourishes, 18-inch black alloy wheels, roof rails, spray-in bed liner, soft tonneau cover and leather seats. And finally, the Aventura features 21-inch alloy wheels, chrome flourishes, electric roll cover, chrome side steps and a different leather seat trim to the PanAmericana. This isn't just some rebadging exercise of the Ranger. Volkswagen has implanted its DNA in the new Amarok in a big way, especially when it comes to exterior design. There are very clear references to the first Amarok as well. If you have a look at the front end design, it's got a similar kind of look to the grille and to the headlights, but it's a much sharper look than that original model. And of course, it's also got the signature half-round wheel arches that were another element of the Amarok that people loved. A lot of people love the design of the new Ranger. It's certainly very bold and it's very American, which is no surprise given it fits into Ford's US truck lineup as well. There's something just a bit more sophisticated about the design of the Amarok, and for me personally, it's a bit more my vibe. When it comes to the cabin, Volkswagen has worked hard to separate the two related models. There are elements that will be familiar from the Ranger, like the touchscreen, general shape of the dash, and the gear shifter. But the Amarok has Volkswagen-specific features like the steering wheel, the air vent design, and the center console design and layout. The vertical cup holders in the Ford are swapped out for a horizontal pair in the Volkswagen. The Amarok has a cohesive look, and it is clearly a big step up from the previous Amarok. It's also far more appealing than the cabin of literally any of its other rivals like the Toyota HiLux, Isuzu D-Max and Mazda BT50 twins, and the Mitsubishi Triton. So as mentioned, there are a lot of Rangerisms about the interior, but there are also a lot of Volkswagenisms. But when it comes to functionality, they're probably about on par. The steering wheel is actually probably a bit nicer than the Rangers, and you've got very clear dials as well, so that is a tick. This is based on the Sync system, the multimedia, but it's got Volkswagen's own graphics as well, and it works just as well as the Sync system, but it does look a bit nicer. Bit of a theme here with the Amarok. With the console, it's changed orientation and it is slightly different from the Ranger. You've got the cup holders here instead of going that way. There is, in this Aventura, we have a wireless charger here. One of the most impressive things about this Amarok is the seats. In all of the grades we've been in so far, the seats are incredibly comfortable, like luxury SUV comfortable. So great job on that one, Volkswagen. Storage-wise, there's quite a bit actually. The central bin's got quite a bit of space. There is decent storage for bottles. That's not a big bottle, but you can fit a big bottle in there. And it's got a twin glove box situation, so a little one up the top here that actually fits quite a bit in it, and then your regular one there as well. So functionality gets a tick up front. So there is more room in the rear seat of the second generation Amarok compared to the first generation Amarok, and that is a good thing because there wasn't much room in the rear seat of the first generation Amarok. These seats in this Aventura are very comfortable back here, which is something I don't think I've ever said about a ute before. So again, thumbs up there, Volkswagen. In terms of amenities, you've got map pockets, you've got the knee level air vents, there is a household plug jack down here and a 12 volt port as well. Whether that comes across to the Australian version, we're going to find out soon. That might be replaced by USBs, so keep an eye on the local launch video when that arrives. In the middle here, you have a little bit of a fold down armrest, which you have to kind of pull down and unlatch. It's not like a simple kind of movement, but you've got a couple of cup holders there, and of course, bottles fit in the doors as well. Not massive, but there is some room for other items as well. Another little hidden storage compartment in the Amarok is right here under the rear seats. Over on the passenger side, you can fit some items in there, which is great for security. And then hide them like this. Aventura grades get this neat roller cover here that opens with the keys. Now, one of the big selling points of the first gen Amarok was the fact that it could fit a Euro-sized pallet between the wheel arches, and great news, this one can do the same. The new Amarok gets 3 diesel engines, all familiar from the Ranger, and to help it stand apart in Australia's pickup segment, it also gets a turbo petrol unit. The base engine is a single turbo diesel, offering up power and torque of 125 kilowatts and 405 newton meters respectively, paired with either a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic transmission. That's only offered in the Amarok Core, and it's the only one with a manual option. All Amaroks come with either permanent or selectable four-wheel drive in Australia. The Life uses a twin-turbo 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel engine pumping out 154 kilowatts and 500 newton meters, and that's paired with a 10-speed automatic, and it also powers the Style. The beefy 184 kilowatts 600 newton meter turbo diesel V6, also matched with the 10-speed unit, is available in Style, PanAmericana and Aventura grades. The latter is also available with the 2.3-litre turbocharged petrol engine, delivering 222 kilowatts and 452 newton meters. Aside from the big American trucks like the Chevy Silverado, Ram 1500 or even the Jeep Gladiator, as well as the new Ranger Raptor, this will be one of a handful of petrol-powered utes in Australia. Now, Volkswagen hasn't revealed the official fuel economy figures for the Amarok just yet, but after a decent stint in the V6 Aventura, we recorded 10.4 litres per 100 kilometres. So on this international Amarok launch, we've only driven the V6 turbo diesel variants. We didn't get a chance to drive the petrol, there weren't any here to drive, and we also didn't get a chance to drive any of the 4-cylinder diesel engines. So all of our impressions are for the V6 diesel, and predominantly for the Aventura. I recently got out of a V6 Ranger and a V6 Everest, so that powertrain is fresh in my mind. And there's no real difference, of course, in the Amarok. It's such a great engine with a lot of power and torque. From a standing start, it does feel more responsive than the old Volkswagen V6 from the outgoing Amarok. And I tell you what, it's great to overtake in this Amarok, similar to the Ranger. It's just got so much torque, and when you're up and running and you want to overtake, there's just absolutely no hesitation whatsoever. It just does it in such a linear way. Now, Volkswagen's done its own steering tune for the Amarok, and it's really, really direct and crisp and feels a bit more responsive than the Ranger. The Ranger's got great steering. This just feels a little bit sharper. The Ranger's probably the best handling ute on the market at the moment, and the Amarok does not divert from that in any way, shape or form. There's a lot of twisty and windy roads here at the Cape in South Africa, and we've been really impressed at how the Amarok has handled that specific suspension tune and damping tune in this version. The Aventura has ensured that it's actually reasonably fun on those winding roads. In terms of ride quality, the Aventura can be a little jiggly, particularly on kind of uneven roads, but around town it's actually really, really supple and quite lovely. It's got 21-inch wheels, so that hasn't helped the jiggliness. But we've also spent a little bit of time in the PanAmericana, and that's got smaller 20-inch wheels. I believe in Australia we're going to get 18-inch wheels, but that has a much more supple ride. So they've definitely got two different personalities, the two top spec utes. In terms of overall refinement, the Amarok impresses. Again, like the Ranger, it's got a really hushed cabin. Even on some of the really coarse chip roads we've encountered here at the Cape, it doesn't really penetrate the cabin as much as you get in other utes. It's a great job by Volkswagen and Ford together on that front. The previous Amarok was criticised for lagging its rivals when it came to driver assistance features, but the new model has addressed that. Equipment that's new to the model includes auto emergency braking, traffic sign recognition, lane keep assist, a blind spot monitor, adaptive cruise control, trailer assist, and quite a bit more. A centre front airbag, knee and curtain airbags are also new to the Amarok and standard across the range. The Amarok is yet to be assessed by ANCAP. Volkswagen hasn't released safety spec by grade yet, but check the written review for more details. Volkswagen Australia hasn't announced details of the servicing offer for the new Amarok just yet, but you can expect that it will be offered with Volkswagen's 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty. More information on cap price servicing and the servicing intervals will be revealed in the new year. The Ranger is so far ahead of its competition, it's crazy. It is the clear standout in Australia's ute segment. But come April next year, that may change. The Amarok has all of the good bits of the Ranger, so a willing V6 engine, refinement, and all of that safety and in-car tech. But there's just something a little bit more refined about the Amarok. We'll have to wait for a drive on local Australian roads before giving our final verdict on the Amarok, but there's a very good chance that it could exceed its donor car. For more on the Volkswagen Amarok, head across to the CarsGuide site for my full written review.